Welcome to the Deep Dive. Picture this. February 1957, Fox Chase area, Philadelphia. Pretty wooded spot.
Right.
A college student's out checking his traps, and he finds this big cardboard box.
Yeah.
And inside, it wasn't a doll. It was the body of a little boy.
Such a chilling discovery.
And apparently he hesitated to report it, worried about his traps being illegal. That delay sort of set the stage for this huge mystery.
It really did. An almost accidental beginning to, decades of questions. 65 years, this child was basically a ghost. A victim with no name.
How does that even happen? A child disappears and no one claims him.
That's the core question, isn't it? And that's our mission today, to trace this whole investigation from, the 1950s police work right up to the science that finally gave him his name back, Joseph Augustus Sorelli.
So what did they actually find out about him right at the start from that scene?
Well, the boy was small, maybe 4 years old, found nude, wrapped in this worn plaid blanket inside a bassinet box from JCPenney. The autopsy revealed blunt force trauma. That was the cause of death. But also severe malnourishment. He only weighed about 30 pounds.
God, that's tiny.
And there were older signs too. Signs of past suffering, surgical scars, little marks like from IV needles.
But despite all that brutality, there were these strange, almost contradictory details, weren't there?
Exactly. That's what was so disturbing. He seemed like he'd been recently cleaned, groomed even. His fingernails were neatly trimmed.
Oh.
His hair, light blonde, looked like it had been crudely cut, like really recently. Clumps were still on his body. And his skin, especially hands and feet, was water wrinkled, like he'd been submerged.
Suggesting maybe a bath right before.
It strongly implied someone knew him, someone close. It didn't feel like a random detached act. It suggested a personal, albeit horrifying, connection.
But the actual leads, the physical evidence, they seemed promising at first.
They did, but they hit dead ends fast, the JCPenney box. Yeah, they traced it to a specific store nearby.
Okay, that sounds like progress.
Only 12 had been sold, but they were all cash sales. No records, no names, untraceable.
Right, and the blanket.
Mass-produced, impossible to trace, same problem.
And there was a cap found nearby too.
Yeah, a man's royal blue corduroy cap. A local shopkeeper, Mrs. Robbins, actually remembered selling one with a custom strap like that.
Ah, so maybe...
Cash sale again, no ID, another dead end. Every physical clue just evaporated.
So what did the police do then? This is the 50s, limited technology.
The response was actually pretty monumental for the time. They printed 400,000 flyers. 400,000 with the boy's picture.
Wow.
And they put one inside every single gas bill mailed out in Philadelphia. Think about that reach.
That's incredible coverage.
They even made the really unusual decision back then to pose his body dressed in children's clothes for photos and created a death mask. Anything to spark recognition.
Desperate measures.
Totally. Circulated by the FBI, the American Medical Association. But the most baffling thing, nobody came forward. He was never reported missing.
Just vanished into thin air, officially.
Exactly. And that's how he became known, tragically, as America's unknown child.
So, with leads drying up, how did this case not just go completely cold forever? How did it stay alive for decades?
Pure dedication, really. Individuals like Remington Bristow, a medical examiner's office investigator, he worked on it for years, even after retiring. And organizations like the Vidocq Society, folks like William Fleischer, they kept pushing.
They kept the flame alive.
They did. They pushed for science. In 1998, they got a court order, exhumed the body for DNA.
Finally, some modern science.
Yeah, but the tech back then, the sample was just too old, too degraded. It didn't yield any matches on CODIS, the national database, so he was reburied, still unidentified.
Still America's unknown child.
Right. And in that, information vacuum, a couple of major theories took hold over the years. There was the foster home theory, some circumstantial stuff, but police eventually ruled it out. And then there was the Martha theory. This woman came forward, accused her own mother of abuse and, killing the boy. Some details she gave, like about baked beans or a bath, seemed to line up weirdly with autopsy hints.
Right.
Couldn't be corroborated, and she reportedly suffered from mental illness. So, compelling stories, kept the case alive in public memory, maybe, but ultimately they were dead ends for the investigation.
Until forensic genetic genealogy, FGG. That's the game changer we hear about in cold cases now. How's it different?
It's totally different from traditional forensic DNA. CODIS looks for exact matches, usually between evidence and known offenders. FGG analyzes way more genetic markers, SNPs they're called.
SNPs.
Single nucleotide polymorphisms, hundreds of thousands of them. And the profiles uploaded to public genealogy databases like GE-Match or Family Tree DNA, places where people voluntarily upload their own DNA results to find relatives.
So you're looking for distant cousins, not the person themselves.
Exactly. You find a third cousin, a fourth cousin, someone who shares a common ancestor way back. And that required another exhumation in 2019.
And the DNA this time?
Yeah.
After 60 plus years.
It was incredibly difficult. Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick, a pioneer in this field, described the sample as like confetti, basically shot. It took 2.5 years of really complex lab work just to get a usable SNP profile.
2.5 years just for the profile.
Yeah. Then the genealogy work began. Misty Gillis, a top forensic genealogist, took that profile and started building family trees. She called it like a giant Sudoku puzzle.
Trying to connect the dots backwards through generations.
Yeah, precisely. Tracing maternal lines, identifying potential family groups until they zeroed in on a likely birth mother. Then they needed a court order to access the original birth certificate.
And that was it.
That was the moment. After 65 years, 9 months, and 13 days, the boy finally had his name.
Joseph Augustus Zarelli, born January 13th, 1953.
Yes. The announcement came in December 2022. Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw really put it powerfully. They weren't just solving a case. They were restoring his identity, giving him back his story.
Hard to even imagine. What else did they learn about him, about his life?
Some tragic details emerged. He was from West Philadelphia. His parents are both deceased now. Their names haven't been released out of respect for the living family.
Living family.
Yes, and this is heartbreaking. Joseph has living half-siblings. They had absolutely no idea he ever existed until the police contacted them.
Wow. Just unimaginable news to receive.
Truly. A new headstone with his name was unveiled on what would have been his 70th birthday, January 13th, 2023, a symbol of finally being found.
But finding his name isn't the end of the story, is it? It's still an active case.
Absolutely. It's still an active homicide investigation. The police have said they have suspicions about who might have been responsible, but they can't share details publicly.
Likely deceased by now, perhaps?
Given the time frame, that's probable. But they're still appealing for information. Anyone, especially older folks, maybe in their 70s or 80s now, who lived in that West Philly area back then and might remember the family or the little boy, there's still a $20,000 reward out there.
It's an incredible story. Such immense sadness, but also this incredible persistence.
It really is. It's a testament to decades of police work, volunteer dedication, and ultimately that leap in scientific ingenuity with FGG. It sort of redefined solving a cold case, doesn't it? Giving a name back, restoring dignity. That's a massive victory in itself.
And it has a lasting impact beyond just this one case, too.
Definitely. Joseph's identification was actually the pilot case for a brand new dedicated FGG unit within the Philadelphia Police Department.
So using this technology proactively now.
Exactly. Their stated goal is ambitious, but powerful. To ensure there will never be another unidentified homicide victim in the city of Philadelphia.
From a box in the woods to a name on a headstone, finally known.
Joseph Augustus Zarelli. A boy found at last. It really makes you think about all the other unknown victims out there and the hope that science and persistence now offer.